Hello, my name is Audrey Joe-Ezigbo, and I've been reflecting on something and I just thought to share. In 2015, I was invited by my son's then school to come and speak at their World Perspectives Conference. Immediately, I got that invitation. The first thing that struck me was that if it was about world perspectives, then I wanted to be able to speak to the world about my country, Nigeria, that I love so much. But you know what? I actually understood that that world was going to be a handful of students. But I chose to go nonetheless. I chose to go. I mean, I have learned in my journey that you don't always focus on the big opportunities. You literally have the opportunity to make a difference in the life of one person, 5 people that can then go on and transform their own world because of their interaction with you. So I left Nigeria and I went to Canada for no other reason. As I prepared, what I just wanted was to be able to shift perspectives amongst these students, because you see, over the course of my own travels and as well as my children's stay in their schools overseas, sometimes people would ask questions like, oh, your English is so good. Where did you learn it? We would have times when people would ask what looked like dumb questions, but they were genuinely concerned in terms of, do we have airports? Where do the planes land? And do we go to schools under the trees and things like that? So I wanted to be able to shift that perspective and give them a different narrative. My son was a top performer in his class, for instance, speaks fabulous English and had never schooled anywhere outside of Nigeria before going for his advanced level studies. So when I got there, I delivered this talk, which I captioned, "Intentionality would be your differentiator." And essentially, my message was, think larger than you think. Use technology to gain the right kind of knowledge. Open yourself to new relationships and the opportunities that follow therefrom. Now, I was speaking to barely 200 students and their teachers. It was well received. And at the end of the day, they put it on their school website and shared the link with me. I remember that I posted it on Facebook. But being that I'm not the kind of person that goes to check, I really wasn't, looking to see how many people had watched it or anything like that. Now, fast forward to 2019 October, and suddenly, for whatever reason, this video went absolutely viral. I received it from different countries of the world. I received it on different platforms, professional platforms, religious platforms, secular platforms. It was shared in legal groups. It was shared by women. It was shared by men. It was even shared by one group, my friend said, in their village association, where half of them barely speak English. But it was shared until today has received thousands and thousands of views. I sat back and I looked at the fact also that this happened around independence, and I was talking about Nigeria. So literally most people who were watching, they thought it was something I had just done. It was current to them, and it was relevant, and it was timely, and it was a message then that blessed not just the audience that it was intended for several years back, but literally blessed Nigerians and non-Nigerians alike across nations. I was particularly proud when some foreigner posted it and said that he was using that to educate his fellow foreigners about a side of Nigeria they had never seen. Wow. I mean, that was just God on a mission. But let's step away from that and ask, what are the lessons that we can take from this? One is this. On your day-to-day journey and commitment to just be a blessing to the 1 person, to the 5, to the 50, to the 100, what you say, if you apply yourself diligently, literally has the ability to transform nations. And there is a season when that transformation would happen. I know for sure that in that class that day, as I spoke to those students, as I spoke to those teachers, many would have had a mindset shift. And that mindset shift would have enabled them then to interact with other nationalities with a very different, outlook and understanding. And for their lifetime, many of them, maybe not all, but many of them, their minds would have been shaped by those words that I said. But then imagine that further down the line, an entire nation could rise up in pride because of words that I spoke in a little school somewhere, not even in the major cities in Canada. Listen, just be you and be committed to being your best you. And your best you is that version of you that always wants to add value to someone else. And it's not a value that is driven by seeking for publicity or accolades or something that you will benefit in the end. That trip cost me money. It cost me time. I had no other business at that point in time. I literally went for that event and turned around 2 days later and came back to Nigeria. It cost me time. I was tired at the end of the day, but it was worth it to me just to see the look of pride on my son's face as I spoke that day. Fast forward years later, like I said, look what God did with that. There are places where you would just apply yourself with diligence, like I said earlier, to deliver value. And God can use that somewhere along the line. Now, yes, this video went viral and it then came back to me clearly with the understanding that, hey, this was good work and it's touched lives. But can I promise you that there are things, many, many things that I have also done which never had that kind of prominence. It didn't have that kind of going viral effect, but it has also blessed many lives. And I'm very confident about this because over my life, I have had people come to me and say things like, you know, when you spoke here or there, those things you said literally transformed my thinking. And I did this and I did that. God bless you for me. And do you know that many times I myself can't remember what I said? God uses us if we're obedient and just committed to being vessels of honor. He uses us to speak words that literally transform generations. So I really believe that when God says that we are blessed to be a blessing, many times we try to dimension it in terms of finances, for instance, but it could just be in the power of your words. So this is another lesson I want to say to you, that your words have power, and that power is transformational power. So don't talk casually. Don't. Be mindful to be a blessing. It's an injunction in the book of Galatians, actually, that you should be mindful to be a blessing. Every time you speak, commit to adding value to something or to someone. Don't be looking for the rewards in anything that you do. It doesn't matter if some other people seem to be on higher platforms or their voices seem to be amplified. I promise you that your corner of the world, there should be, and there must be, if you do this, people who, because they have the privilege to speak to you or to hear from you, there's transformative power behind that, and their lives will shift fundamentally. Listen, this is just a little nugget I wanted to share today. First of all is the fact that your voice matters, so use it. And it doesn't matter if you're using it with one person or if it's with many people. What matters is that every single time you have to speak, every time you're given the opportunity to communicate, make sure that there is something positive, something edifying, something encouraging, something uplifting, something that forces people to look at life through a fresh set of lenses. Make sure that you're committed to being a blessing, because your words carry life and they carry power. So be careful not to speak derogatory words, insulting words. Be careful with your remarks. Be careful with your impulsive statements, because you could literally be tearing down instead of building up. And no, I'm not sharing this so that you can start trying to look for platforms to share or look for videos to do so that suddenly you can get hits. You certainly know that's not what I'm saying, right? But I'm saying that in your diligent deployment of your talents, your treasures, your time, in whatever dimension God will give you those different gifts, make sure it's about blessing humanity, and you will see the rewards. Even if you don't see them for yourself, I promise you that because generations are being blessed through you, your generation will be blessed as well. Just a small nugget I thought to share. Think on it. If you haven't seen the video, you can check in my bio. It's there. It's my World Speaker Perspectives video at Pickering College in Canada. I hope it teaches you something about Nigeria, because I really do think that's a very strong message that I want to share about the way even we Nigerians think about our country, speak about our country. But the real lesson is not so much in the video as it is a word to you to say that everything has its time and a season. You just commit to diligently deploying the very best version of you in any way that God will show you, or any platform He would give you, any assignment, any project. Come fully loaded, best version of you, always delivering life with your words. And of course, your walk and your conduct must align. I hope this has been some kind of a blessing to you. I'll be back. Take care.